Welcome to the Jump from Home. I'm Rachel Nichols alongside Richard Jefferson, Kendrick Perkins, and coming up, guys, KG scoffs, I say, at the idea of the Timberwolves retiring his jersey. Stick around to find out why. First, though, the Lakers spoke to the media via an audio-only Zoom teleconference, and LeBron was on the call. He said, quote, "I don't think I'll be able to have any closure if we don't have an opportunity to finish the season." When asked where his thinking was right now, he added this.
It's my job right now to make sure that our guys stay engaged, stay optimistic, stay positive about us getting back on the floor, but understanding what's most important right now is having the help of our American and everyone that's in America, and also in the world, and us trying to figure out, not us personally, but the people at the higher ranks, figure out how we can get through this, because it's all challenging times for all of us. So that's what's most important. Once we get that handled and get a handle on that thing, we can all start moving forward. I would love to get the season back going. I feel like we're in a position where we can, get back and start to compete for a championship. Get back to, doing what we love to do, making our Laker faithful proud of us of being back on the floor. And if it's in one single isolated destination, like you mentioned, if it's Las Vegas or somewhere else that can, hold us and keep us, in the best possible chance to be safe, not only on the floor, but also off the floor as well, then those conversations will be had and, just figuring out a way.
The stakes are just so high for LeBron here, guys. He's 35 years old. He's been playing at an MVP candidate level. If the NBA cannot find a way to resume, Richard, do you think LeBron could really play like this all over again at age 36? Or is somehow finishing this season his last real window?
I don't think it's his last window at all. But, we can't hold this against him. We can't feel bad for him. This is something that everybody is dealing with, in my opinion. And so, look, LeBron James, over the course of his career, has always done things that no one expected him to do, to be playing at this level, not just at 35, but at 34, at 33. And yes, there might be a drop-off at 36 and 37, but he's got Anthony Davis. He's got a great team around him. So will this be his last and final chance to win a championship? No. Is this one of his best chances in the last 5 to 10 years? Most likely. So we're just going to have to see how this plays out, just like everyone else.
I agree with you, RJ, but listen, we all know LeBron James is not human. He's a freak of nature. And when it comes down to a professional athlete taking care of their bodies, LeBron James is one of one. And RJ, you could contest to this, that, we could be at dinners, out to dinner with the team, and LeBron James will be getting treatment around the clock. So, I think that Bron could play the next 5 years at a very, very high level. He's a guy that invested a lot into his body, one of the best that I've ever seen. And when you look at his body of work this season, he was on his way, in my eyes, to winning the MVP and reclaiming his throne. And I thought he was on a mission, and I thought he had championship on his mind. So I'm optimistic because we have Adam Silver, who's the best commissioner in the world, that the season will continue, and LeBron will be able to have closure because the season will continue. We don't know when, but I believe it will continue.
And one more thing, Rachel and Perk. LeBron James this year started to change his game. Yes, he was still averaging 25 points, but leading the league in assists, that is the number one thing that I think people need to pay attention to when he's trying to prolong his career. When he's starting to say, I will be a point guard, I will just be the Magic Johnson, I will just dish it out to other players. So that means as he gets older, he's able to recruit other players saying, look, I don't need to score. I'll just keep leading the league in assists. So that, to me, is a way for him to prolong his or to have longevity, and to have longevity at a high level. That's the part that we need to look at.
Absolutely. And Richard, I think it's so funny. You talked to LeBron a couple weeks ago on your road tripping podcast, and he was like, I wouldn't want to be isolated with the other players somewhere away from my family. I don't want to do that. Now we're a couple weeks later, and you heard him him just there in those comments being, hey, if it's a central location like Las Vegas and they figure out a way to put us in a bubble, we'll have to think about that. So it sounds like his thinking is evolving as the chance to finish out this season. The window is getting more and more narrow. He's willing to do more and more things. Do you get that sense?
Oh, necessity is the mother of invention, right? Now all of a sudden you feel like, hey, the only way for us to do this is to come up with a creative way. Well, if that's the case, then let's get creative, because he understands, other than Giannis and Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant, Bron knows that he's got 3 years at a high level, maybe 5 more years of a career, and that's at max. That's barring injury, barring anything crazy. So it's less about whether or not this is his best chance, but it's more if he's running out of chances to win championships.
I agree. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago on y'all podcast, RJ, he was against it, but now, you know, as basketball players and true hoopers and guys, like, if we were still playing, it's no other than like being able to play basketball, the game that you love. This is what we know. Basketball is our sanctuary. Although you love being around your family, you love being with your kids, your wife, et cetera, basketball is a sanctuary. And sooner or later, it was just like the lockout a few years ago. Guys were starting to get restless. They just wanted to hoop. And that's where it's starting to come to right now. Guys are getting bored and they want to play the game.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.